Entertainment Soldier here, and I'm back to talk about Marvel's Secret Invasion, Episode 3, Season 1, and my thoughts on this episode. Dumb episode, predictable, and the main part of this episode was utterly ridiculous. For that to happen, you would need the entire Royal Navy's command structure to all be mentally dead or ill, because that would never happen. And this episode doesn't even explain why the attack is given and what was the point of it. It was just, oh my god, it was such a bad episode. And the damage to Fury's character in this episode was, oh my god, the character has lost all, I've lost all respect for Fury in this episode. Because what Talos says pretty much just says what Fury's career is, basically. A load of shit. So, Secret Invasion has just, for me, destroyed the character of Fury. It has. This one episode has also done that. So, I mean, well done to the writers of this episode. Because, again, Fury, one of the top characters, a man of colour, and you've just wasted this character. I mean, you have just destroyed him. You've made him a joke. It is utterly embarrassing. I did not like this episode. Too much of it was This episode was predictable and was full of ridiculous plot points. So, yeah, I liked the first two episodes. I admit that. This episode, it has just taken me fully out of the show. So, I'm a bit gutted. I am not looking forward to next week's episode. But let's just get to my scoring now. Out of 10, I can't give anything higher than a 3 for this episode. I mean, it felt rushed, pointless, ridiculous, and gutting. I'm not saying it's as bad as anything else I've seen from like the past couple of years. Or at least in a couple of days, because I still remember Indiana Jones, and that was a pile of shit. It's not as bad as that, but it's still bad. But yeah, I was liking this show, and this episode just killed it for me. And has again damaged the Fury character for me. Well, let's get to spoilers now. If you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. So, the episode starts off with Fury in the past, 1998, where he meets up with his spy, who's one of the Skrulls, and it turns out to be the woman that Fury's married to. And this is apparently, you know, before they got married, she's a spy for him. She's found some information for him so he can use it to help S.H.I.E.L.D. and whatever, but she doesn't like the fact that, as a rule, Fury can't date her. And then she reminds Fury, yes, you can't date spies that S.H.I.E.L.D. know about, and S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't know anything about us, so you can basically go out with me because S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't know about it. So you wouldn't technically be breaking the rules. Listen, I just want to get this done quickly, because this is the part that kind of ruins Fury's character. In this first scene, you kind of see that the Skrulls have been pretty much giving Fury information. And in this episode also, Talos basically says Fury's entire career is only successful because the Skrulls gave him every bit of information he needed to go up through the ranks. Every terrorist attack, every plot against the Shield or against the government of the United States, everything. It wasn't because Fury was a fantastic agent. No, he just had a shitload of spies all over the fucking world, working in all the fucking terrorist cells or enemies of American government. So that takes a lot away from Fury, in my opinion. Now, some people can say, how? That's basically how an intelligence service works. Yes, but it's normally an agent gets this information, not, hiring a shitload of aliens to do it for them. So, yes, this does break the character of Fury if basically his entire career is only successful because of the Skrulls. So he's not his own man, is he? He owes everything to them. And I just think that destroys your character. And Talos even says that. It's like, you would not be where you are without the Skrulls. So, yeah, well done to the writers of this show for pretty much damaging or destroying, in my case, the character of Fury. So, basically, Fury says, yes, let's break the rules and go out with each other. And then we're back in the present where Fury's Skrull wife, she pretty much says, well, she wakes up, she goes into the room, sees that Fury's made breakfast, and Fury's like, are you happy to see me, basically? And she's like, no, because after the blip, you were gone. I tried to get over that. I didn't know you were coming back. And then you came back, and instead of coming back to her, or me, or whatever, you just decided to go back into space and not, come back to me or her or whatever. So basically, when Fury disappeared, he didn't go back home to his fucking wife. He just headed up to the Skrull ship to do the whole sword missile protection system thing. So he's just come back, he has a wife, and he just left her. What a dick. I get he has all this shit to be, in charge of, but come on, man, that's your fucking wife. You just left her, you didn't come back, and she's literally just got over you. She thought you were dead and gone forever. She gets over that, then you come back from the dead and don't even go back to see your wife until now? What a cunt. Oh my god. And Fury's also very suspicious of her because she is a Skrull. So I'll give the episode credit for that. They haven't just made him a simp where he's just like, oh, you're my wife and I trust you and everything. No, he's kind of on edge with her. Yes, he loves her, but he's like, you're still a Skrull and you could be working for Gravik. So there is tension between them. She gets a mysterious call in the middle of their conversation and doesn't really tell Fury who was on the other end. And then Fury pretty much, then she says she's going to leave and go do something else, and Fury just sits there eating his breakfast. Whatever. The next scene is Gaia talking with Gravik about how did the Russians find their secret hideout, or at least the one they're preparing to go to after they attack the Russian meat place. So Gravik pretty much knows there's a spy in their organisation, or at least their terror cell, and he needs to find it. But Gaia tells him, oh no, the person who spied on us, or who probably gave the information about the safe house, that's what I meant to say, was the guy you shot in the woods. He must be the traitor. So Gravik kind of just shrugs it off and says probably, but you could obviously fucking tell he knows it's Gaia. Okay? I mean, it was so bloody obvious, you might as well have had him just say, Gaia, I know it's you. That's how bloody obvious the scene was. But Then Gravik tells Gaia that he's going to have a meeting with her father because he's requested it. They go to an art museum to meet up, where Gravik really, when he starts talking, he goes really northern. Like, he is really fucking northern in this episode. And I was kind of taken back from it. It's like, I know he's English, but I didn't expect him to be from the north. I mean, they are very strong accents. And in this episode, it really came out in a couple of scenes. And I like that. I love the fact that you get a lot more northern actors playing roles, because I like Northerners. Northerners are pretty great people. I'm talking about British Northerners, not, well, anybody else from the North, who gives a shit? But yeah, they don't really get a lot of, time on British TV. Again, they're great people. It's great to see them on TV, and I'm happy about that. That's my little speech about that. But anyway, so they're in an art museum. Gravik's pretty much telling him how, he thinks Talos was more of a politician than he was a general. He tries to tell him that it's your fault we failed. It's your fault our people are refugees. If you had been more of a fighter instead of a diplomat, we might actually have a planet. And Talos pretty much tells him, no, that's why we're in the shit. We fought too hard. We need to now protect what's left and not kill innocent people. But Gravik doesn't care. He knows that he thinks what he's doing is right, and he's fighting for the Skrull people. But Talos pretty much tells him, if you don't back off, if you don't stop killing people, I'm going to go basically around the world and tell every military about your existence. And as soon as he does that, he'll unite planet Earth against the Skrulls, and hopefully they will just kill all the insane people, or at least all the terror Skrulls. But Gravik just laughs it off and just says, then you'll just be a full traitor, and you'll see the death of your people, and you will finally lead us to genocide, basically. And then he insults his daughter, and when Talos goes up to kind of hit him, turns out the room they're in is just full of other Skrulls. So Talos realizes he can't win in this fight, so he backs off. And Gravik just pretty much tells him situations like, I'm going to see the death of Earth. They're already trying to kill each other. I'm just quickening up the pace. And then insults his daughter one last time. And Talos grabs a knife, stabs him in the hand, and just says, never mention my daughter again, or I'll fucking kill you, basically. And just leaves the room after that. And then Gravik just pulls his hand out from the knife, and then you see him healing. He heads back to the base, where he meets up with the leaders of the Skrull Council, where he pretty much tells them about his plan to evolve the Skrulls. So basically, his plan is to make Super Skrulls who can change their powers, to pretty much make the Skrulls the Avengers. Because you also saw in last week's episode pictures of the Falcon, Groot. They are trying to create their own Avengers so that they can take on the Avengers when they attack Earth, and they don't have to worry about Earth's defenders. It's kind of a smart plan. I think that's a good plan. But anyway, that's his plan basically. Get them to nuke each other, and then when the heroes of Earth try to defend the planet, they'll have their own Avengers to kill them. And then we find out the other part of the plan, which is, well, the stupid plan of this episode is they're going to sneak a couple of crewmen on a British nuclear submarine, and that nuclear submarine's plan is to basically shoot down a UN plane. Oh my god, this is the dumbest fucking plan. So, hold on. you're trying to start a war between America and Russia to start the whole nuclear holocaust thing. How is destroying a fucking UN plane going to accomplish that and start World War III? How? That is a UN plane. By the way, no British submarine would fire at a UN plane. There is no fucking scenario where that happens. Even if you gave an order like that, no naval captain would ever permit that to happen. They wouldn't even acknowledge the order. They would refuse. Again, I might not like the UN because I think it's a waste of money, but I wouldn't want to see people get killed because of it. I mean, what the fuck? I wouldn't have listened to those orders if it was an army thing. That is just such a... Like, why? That would be like telling a British submarine to fire at another British submarine. You're going to have to give them a hell of a lot of reasons to do that. And all that this captain receives, because that's what the plan is, get some Skrulls on a submarine, and they're going to then send over orders from one admiral to shoot down a UN plane. It would have to go through a hell of a lot of people and be signed off by probably the entire government for that submarine captain to even consider shooting down a UN plane. So that's how ridiculous this story was. I thought the plan was going to be get the Skrulls on the ship, knock out the crew of the submarine, and then just fire the fucking rockets on their own. That makes more sense than sending over orders that a British captain is never going to follow. That was just such a dumb plan. Oh my god. So yeah, that's the plan. Destroy a UN plane, and that starts World War III. So we then go to Tulse, who's in a bar eating some food or whatever. And then Fury walks in and says to Tulse, you need to come with me. I already know about the plan to shoot down the UN plane using a British submarine. And we need to go sort this out. And then Tulse just turns around and says, no, I'm not going to do that until you say you need me and basically be my little bitch about it. And then Fury then just says what he wants, what Tulse told him to say, which was, Tulse, I need you. Without you, I'm nothing. That is not how Fury would answer that question. Fury would have walked up to Tulse and said, fuck off, now get into the car, and that would have been a good scene. Yes, Tulse wants more respect from Fury, and Fury would show that later on in the episode. He wouldn't just be Tulse's bitch and just do as he's told. That's not Fury. So they get into their car. When they get into the car, they drive off to, somewhere to find out the information about who's commanding the mission, or at least who's given the orders for the British submarine to fire at the UN plane. So Fury calls up that British agent lady. I didn't catch her name, and she tells Fury she found Fury's camera on the Owl, and how Fury tells her about the plan to destroy a UN plane, and she doesn't seem to give a shit. She seems to be, yes, Fury, I'm kind of dealing with my own shit. Hold on, love. Somebody has infiltrated British Navy in the British Navy, and your concern seems to be gone. It doesn't seem to even be there. I get that you're following your own lead and trying to figure out who's the Skrull in British intelligence. I get that. But Fury has just told you about a plan for a British submarine to destroy a UN plane. Could you get a little bit more involved here than just, I'm just giving the information. You could literally go to the fucking Navy and tell the Navy, guess what? One of the fucking admirals has ordered one of our ships to attack the UN. How about you tell that ship to stop? And it's over. It's fucking over then. The admirals would all fucking agree and say, yeah, this is ridiculous. Why are we attacking the UN plane? But does she do that? No. Just gives Fury the admiral's name and he heads off to fucking Portsmouth where the admiral obviously is. And they shoot all the Skrulls guarding him. And then Fury and Tulls, split up. Tulls goes for the Skrull Admiral, but gets pretty much overpowered. And then when the Skrull pretends to be Tulls and calls Fury, Fury realizes this is not Tulls, this is the Skrull, grabs the Skrull's son and puts a gun to his head and tells the Admiral to surrender or he'll kill his son. The Admiral surrenders and then Tulls and Fury pretty much torture the guy to try to get the cancel order, the cancel code to the submarine so that they can cancel the operation. I have one problem with this scene. Why the fuck does the Admiral care about the son if it's not his son? This is the Admiral's son, not the Skrull's son. So why does he care? The episode doesn't explain anything about that. Is that his son? Is he a Skrull? Or, is that just the Admiral's son? And if it is the Admiral's son, why would the Skrull care? They didn't even explain that. So they try to torture the Admiral, but the Admiral's not having it. He pretty much taunts Tulls and tells him he's a failure. Even his daughter agrees. Or is his daughter the traitor? And that pisses off Tulls, and Tulls shoots the Skrull Admiral and kills him. And then Tulls goes and calls Gaia to try to find out the Council code. And she does, but this pretty much leaves her open, and pretty much she reveals that she's a spy by killing a couple of Skrulls. She finds the code, sends it to her father. Her father mimics the Admiral's voice, cancel the orders of the attack on the UN ship, plane, and the submarine, doesn't attack the plane. And then Gaia tries to leave the terrorist base, but then gets stopped by Gravik, who always knew she was a spy. And it turned out this entire plan was basically to reveal the spy within the terrorist cell. So, yes, the obvious fake plan to get the spy was... Again, this was so fucking obviously what Gravik's plan was. It was so bloody obvious. And how could you not see that? Fury or Tulls, how the hell could you two not see this was an obvious plan to get your daughter? So Gravik pretty much says, I knew you were the spy, and, Gaia tries to say, no, I'm still on your side, I'm still working for you, but Gravik already knows that she's a spy, and so Gaia tries to talk to him, but then realizes there's no point to doing that. And she then tells him, are you a Skrull, or are you trying to lead our people to death? And that pisses off Gravik, and Gravik shoots Gaia, and we're supposed to believe she's dead. Because I don't think she's dead. And then Gravik just leaves her body on the side of the road, and he drives off. And the last scene is Fury's wife walking through a train station to a bank where she has a safety deposit box with a pistol inside. And the last scene is Fury's wife making a call to Gravik, or at least Gravik's people. And that's how the episode ends. It's a bad episode. Didn't enjoy it. It's a 3 out of 10. disappointing. The Fury stuff, I mean, again, his entire career is basically a lie. Or at least he wouldn't have a career without the Skrulls. And I just think that's a terrible, terrible thing to have done to Fury. Yeah, that's damaged a lot of Fury's character for me. And I'm just disappointed. And that's the end of my review. If you like this review, give it a like. If you dislike this review, give it a dislike. And if you like my content, do think about subscribing. Entertainment Soldier. Bye.